Hey, if you're new here, I'm Cooley's Barbecue. Welcome in, and today we are going to make poor man's burnt ends with the chuck roast. Now, the chuck roast was $5.99 a pound, and you're thinking to yourself, Cooley, that's kind of expensive. It is. I agree. The chuck roast isn't as cheap as it used to be. However, if you don't get it, and it's cheaper still than buying the big brisket. I found this little chuck roast for $9.40. So even though that the price is $5.99 a pound, I got a little boy for less than $10. What's great about this? So two things. You can either practice, and this is what I recommend, right? Instead of doing a brisket, super expensive, and if you're going to experiment and you don't want to screw it up, I recommend you get a little chuck roast, right? Less than $10, and you can practice your different rubs and your different profiles on a little piece of meat. You're going to use less fuel, and then if you mess up with the different flavor profiles, you're out less than $10, and you're not using as much fuel for the product. So you can either test your product, your new styles, your new tricks, the new flavors on a cheap chuck roast, or what I'm going to do today is make the burnt ends, poor man's burnt ends, which you can even do with hot dogs. So look for that video. Here's what I'm thinking. We're going to run, and I'm going to show you this, and we'll go detail. I will set up the Weber kettle with the snake method. Made some mistakes in the past. I've learned. I've corrected. If you're new to barbecue, just remember we're home cookers. Most of us. 95% of us are home cookers. 90% of us, 10%. Competition barbecue is very different than home cooking. Our goal is for you to make good food, to be the king of your castle, the king of your neighborhood, or your block, right? You want to make good food. And a lot of that is through practice. Takes time. If you guys knew the thousands of pounds I've thrown out, or hundreds of pounds over the last 30 years of meat, and I burned up a lot of meat and just threw it out, you're not alone. So if you're new to this, welcome, and it's fun. So I will show you, we're going to set up the Weber kettle with the snake method. We're going to test, we're going to make some burnt ends, right? And it's only less than $10. But you can practice. Like, even if your game, let's just say you're on point with your seasonings and your flavor profiles and all the things, but you're not great at the snake method because there's pros and there's cons depending which charcoal you use. How many briquettes do I use? I can't get the temperature. For $10, even if you mess up the snake method, you've learned, and you're not out a lot. So today, what I'm thinking, we're going to go Pappy's. This is a beef rub. Funny enough, I have a ton of rubs. I don't have a ton of beef rubs, right? You can make them yourself. It's just fun to play. So this Pappy, this is great on tri-tip. We're going to use it on the chuck roast. It's a great beef seasoning. It's like, I call it a Lowry's on steroids. Much better, right? It has a little extra pop to it. So we're going to go the Pappy's. We're going to go, this is just a normal all-purpose rub. This is Twisted Oliver's, salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder. You don't have to buy it. You can make it your own. But I get a barbecue box. I'll do a review on it. It's kind of fun. Reaches you out. You find new flavors and rubs and sauces you might never buy. It just kind of forces you. And so anyways, this is good. And then for the heat, one of my buddies made, we're going to go slap your mama. He did like a barbecue / kind of a Cajun. It was delicious on this. So we're going to add a little slap your mama Cajun-ing so we have a little heat. Because in the end, we're going to use our barbecue sauce, right? Butter, brown sugar, the normal things if you're new to this. So I like the balance of the sweet with the heat. And normally, and you can use whatever barbecue sauce you want, I like thin sauces. Now, or I make my own or thin sauce, right? Because usually that thin sauce, you just want to enhance the flavor of the meat. You don't want to overpower the meat like most commercial barbecue sauces do. But we're going to use, now I don't know why. I love the KC Masterpiece. I'm almost 53 years old. I grew up with that as far as like a commercial. But everybody's gone to Sweet Baby Ray's. I don't like Sweet Baby Ray's as much. But I have a bottle of it and it's thick. So I think this is one of the occasions, it's just a thought, the thicker barbecue sauce will really kind of complement the meat, right? That nice coating. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I'm not a huge Sweet Baby Ray's fan, but I just want to test and mess around. That's where we're going to start with. Let's go set up the snake method and I'll explain it to you and what we're going to do. All right, step 2. I'm using Kingsford charcoal. I have 2 briquettes on the bottom row, 2 on the top. So there's 4, 4, 4, right? 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. That probably is even too much, that little piece of meat. Now, if you use B&B charcoal, which I got, you might only need to use 2 briquettes, maybe 3 at the most. They're a bigger briquette and they burn hotter and longer. So I'm going to try those. But with the Kingsford, you should run between probably 250, 300, maybe 325. If you only use 3, it might be inconsistent. I had a good cook, and then the other one, it wasn't hot enough. So to be safe, run 2 briquettes on the bottom, 2 on the top. So 4, right? And listen, you don't have to be meticulous about this. Just work its way around so they touch each other. All right, step 3. What kind of wood are we going to use and how are we going to light this baby? I don't recommend this. These boys are bigger. These chunks will tend to smolder because in the snake method, you're not producing enough heat to get these boys really burning. I wouldn't use these. This is a medium size. You may be okay with this, but I recommend these little guys. These little guys will burn, catch easy, and create that flavor. We're using cherry that you're looking for. And remember, it's the burning of the wood that gives you that flavor, the combustion, the process. The smoke isn't flavoring your meat. If you have too much smoke in there, it's gonna cause it to taste bitter, or the soot. So I recommend the small guys or this guy, not the big guys. So when we go to light these, we're gonna use these tumbleweeds. I've got one here between these 2 that we're gonna light, and that will get the snake going. And then I'm gonna take this one for extra security insurance, because a lot of times, if you don't get enough fire, that snake ain't gonna burn around. So we wanna overdo it a little. This is 9 briquettes. Now, you could use paper. I don't recommend it to start it, because sometimes it just won't catch, right? We don't have enough briquettes in there. I recommend the tumbleweed, and the reason I recommend it is it's gonna be direct heat to these 9 cubes. So you'll set this down, let me show you guys, and you'll put it directly over those coals. We'll light it. Once these ash over, we're gonna bring this over here, and we'll dump it on our pile, and we should be on our way. All right, part 4 on the snake method. This looks good. We're ready to go. That little fire from the wood will go away once we cover it. And then over here, we are ready. All gray. I'm gonna dump them on top, and then let's get the party started. We can put our meat down. All right, so we've got the Weber preheating. Those coals are lighting up, turning gray on us. So while that happens, while the Weber's preheating, we're going to season this chuck roast for our poor man's burnt ends. But look, very little fat. I'm not going to trim it. We're good to go. We'll start. Now listen, this is a big piece of meat. You can go liberal with your seasonings. There are many times I've over-seasoned stuff, but I'd rather have flavor than less, because I tend to be a little compulsive. So it happens and you learn, right? We'll season all sides of this, right? Just go. When you're new, just don't be tentative, right? That's good. And depending on the rub, so that was just the all-purpose twisted Oliver. This is Pappy's. This is a great tri-tip beef rub. Depending on the salt content, and this is why you want to practice and experiment, you can go heavier. Some seasonings have less salt, some have more salt. So you just, and this is the whole point of practicing. Never, never experiment when you have guests come, because you don't know how much seasoning, how much the salt content is, right? So we'll go, this is great. This is, I was thinking about a little lemon pepper, but I don't think it's going to go good with the burnt ends. So this is just a beef seasoning, and whatever I spilled in here, right, I'll mop up on the sides. And then this is Cajun. Slap your mama. We'll do a little Cajun seasoning on top of this for a little heat, so I think will be delicious, right? You can take a little more. And one thing, if you're using the sauce and you salt it a little too much, that sauce will absorb some of that, that salt. And okay, so that's it. We're gonna rock with this. I'm gonna let that Weber burn and get ready for us, and then we'll go outside. You'll see me drop it, and then pretty much it's set it and forget it. I'll show you how I line the wood, and then we can get cooking. All right, guys, let's check on the meat. It says, I have no idea. It's been about 30, 40 minutes. I don't know how long we are in. The temperature on that gauge says 400. I don't get stuck on that. As you get more experience, you're going to learn. Your meat's going to talk to you. You're going to learn it. You're going to look at it. So temp is just a tool, but a lot of times you have to learn to read your meat, which will come with experience. So let's look at it. Let's check out the steak method. All right, let's move this. It's convenient. All right. See, look, it's 400. It looks good. Starting to develop a little color right there. We're sneaking around. I have my little wood chunks. And here's the thing. If you don't run wood chunks, you could just run the charcoal. The burning of the charcoal will put off a nice flavor, right? So if you have chunks, if you don't have chunks, but you could smoke this without the chunks. And I'm using cherry wood. So that looks good. I'll probably take this to about 175, and then I'll take it off and we'll cut it up and do the things, and I'll show you. But we're looking good. I'll probably check it. Maybe I'll set the timer for 20 minutes to get a temp. I don't need to temp it yet. All right, guys, let's check on our poor man's burnt ends chuck roast. Ooh, look at that. See that puddling? Look at that color. Let's temp her. Still, 154. Oh, 165. Hold on. 156. All right, we're going to go another 20. Maybe 30. You know what? We're going to go 30 minutes, and then we'll check back on her. All right, guys. I just took it off. It was 175. I just tasted it. It's delicious. So let me tell you the mistake I made. Remember I said I'm compulsive about the seasonings? Well, it's a little too salty, but it's just me eating it. But what I think, once I throw in some butter and the barbecue sauce, it will dissolve that. So just be careful. That's why I say practice. But I kind of knew I was going heavy. But man, I'm telling you guys, these chuck roasts are so good. So I'm cutting this down into 1-inch cubes like this. Man, even if you didn't, I'm going to be honest, if you didn't do the burnt ends and just ate it like this, oh, delicious. Just because I haven't had this in a while, I'm going to buy these on sale and just smoke them. I mean, it's delicious. You could do so many things with these. So let me cut this down, right? And listen, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like if you're feeding, usually you have daughters, the wife, they like a little smaller chunks. Since I'm eating it, I really don't care. But just get close. But it is delicious. So let me cut this down into my little cubes, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right. You guys, don't you get excited? If you're like me, you're hard on yourself when you make barbecue and you don't like it. But I'm like, this is really good. So a lot of guys, but this isn't much, right? This was a baby one for me to test. You don't need as much butter. I see a lot. Like when I put a lot of butter in, I feel like it doesn't do much, right? Because the fat renders still. So for this little bit, I'm just going to go 3 little pats. Now remember, I don't need more seasoning because I'm compulsive and I seasoned it enough. So we're going to go butter And I had an idea. Brown sugar, right? We're going to go brown sugar. We got to go barbecue sauce too, which I'm going to talk to you about in a sec. Probably should have done that first, right? It doesn't matter. Don't be weird. That's enough there. What about, I'm not doing it this time, you guys. What about a little bit of maple syrup? We're going to go some honey, but what about a little maple syrup? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the maple syrup. All right, so I should have put the barbecue sauce on. This is just one my wife found. It's okay. My favorite, of course, is making our own, right? So we'll go this. I'm going to give it a stir. Notice I moved the butter off to the side because I was a moron. I should have stirred this first. Right? How much? I don't know. I'm going to go a little more with this. Right? All right. Now we're talking. All right. So let's give this a little mixy. Now remember, we're still going to get more fat. It's going to render. All right. So that looks good. Let's fix our butter. So our butter. And you know what I did, you guys? That charcoal ran out, so we get to finish on the easy bake oven. So you can't knock the pellet smokers. I'm gonna put this and finish this on the pellet smoker, and I'll give this a stir. Probably why it's on there. And then let's do this. Let's hit it with a little honey. What do you guys think of that? Let's come across a little honey. What do you think, honey? Little honey. All right. Now we're gonna go put this back on the pellet smoker. I'll show you. I got it at 300. Maybe I'll go 275. And we'll finish it off. Maybe it'll hit 200, 205, something in that range. So probably at least another hour, and then we should be done. But let me put it on there, and I'll show it to you on the Easy Bake. So it was bugging me. We put a little more brown sugar on. I had to clean it up a little bit. All right. So I decided to put the Easy Bake. We got her at 300. We'll start there. I might turn her down to 275. We'll see. So here's what she looks like. Because, right, I shorted myself on the snake method, right? The one time. Usually you always have extra. But it was good. Clean bird. Remember the 4 briquettes. 4 was great. That's what she looks like on the Easy Bake. Probably another hour. We'll check on her in an hour, and I'll show you guys what she's looking like. All right, guys. I just took it off. It was 175. I just tasted it. It's delicious. So let me tell you the mistake I made. Remember I said I'm compulsive about the seasonings? Well, it's a little too salty, but it's just me eating it. But what I think, once I throw in some butter and the barbecue sauce, it will dissolve that. So just be careful. That's why I say practice. But I kind of knew I was going heavy. But man, I'm telling you guys, these chuck roasts are so good. So I'm cutting this down into 1-inch cubes like this. Man, you know, even if you didn't, I'm going to be honest, if you didn't do the burn ends and just ate it like this, oh, delicious. Just because I haven't had this in a while, I'm going to buy these on sale and just smoke them. I mean, it's delicious. You could do so many things with these. So let me cut this down. Right? And listen, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like if you're feeding, like, you know, usually you have daughters, the wife, they like a little smaller chunks. Since I'm eating it, I really don't care. But just get close. But it is delicious. So let me cut this down into my little cubes, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right, we are 1 hour in on the Easy Bake. Let's look at them. Ooh, they're getting ooey gooey and delicious. I just temped them. We're about 201, 202, 199. I think we're going to go 10 more minutes. We'll pull them and taste them. All right, guys. Look at these buttes. They just finished. We went 1 hour and 10 minutes on the Easy Bake after we did the snake method when I ran out of charcoal. So total cook time, 4 hours, 10 minutes. Let's taste these little delicious nuggets. All right, the moment. Let's taste it. The buttes. I am so excited. All right, here we go. We're gonna double fist them. All right. This isn't an act. I'll tell you if it's not good. Mmm. Mmm. Delish. Delish. You got to try it. It cost me less than $10, right? Experiment. I told you I was a little heavy-handed with the salt from the rub, but I knew I was the only one eating it. If it was a family, I would have backed off. But I didn't care. Try it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I appreciate you being here. We'll see you guys on the next one. Woo!